Hello everybody, my name is Noel Oge of Let Us Farm. Last time I shared a video here on my visit to fish pond, and thereafter I had some questions on some of the items that we are seeing in the video. So one of the questions was, why do we put net on top of the pond? So I would like to explain some of these things so that we can actually understand. First of all, please, if you have not followed our page, kindly type Let Us Farm on Facebook and then click on the follow button so that you can follow our page and receive up to date uh, alerts on our new videos. So you can also like these videos and share it for every other person to see. While you're on YouTube, you can also type Let Us Farm, subscribe to our channel there, and receive our up-to-date alerts on our visits to farms and subsequent treatment of comments and questions that we received after our visits. So now what we are talking about now is on the our last visit to fish pond, where we have some questions of why do we put net. Someone was even asking me that the on the net, under the net, there is a kind of rope under it. So now there are reasons why we put net, even though I explained a little bit in that video. One of the reasons why we put net is to scare away predators from entering the pond. As you may know, when the fishes are very small, they are prone to a lot of predators. One, we have birds. There are some of these birds that they will just land on your pond and then grab your fish. Then we have snakes. Snakes are very dangerous when you have those young birds. In fact, I have seen somebody that stocked 2,000, and after 4 weeks, when he got back to the pond, because the pond is surrounded by bushes, what he met inside the pond is now up to 100. So he was advised then to go and put a fishing net. So after putting the fishing net on, after the first 2 days, we caught this black giant snake tangled on the net. So such things are part of the reasons why we always encourage farmers, especially if it's not at your very backyard that you are sure that everywhere is cleaned up. Try and put fishing net. It saves you a lot, and it's not what it will save you will not be quantifiable to the cost of putting it. Now, the rope under the fishing net is like a basement. It's a support so that the net doesn't drop below that level. So the rope hangs the fishing net and supports it, so there will be no drop of the net to the pond. That's the reason why we put it like that. So it becomes steady, it becomes firm. So there will be no issues. Then the issue of sandbags. Yes, sandbags are used in ponds, especially where the soil texture of such pond is sandy soil. So sandy soil, you discover that when it is soaked, it always collapses inside the pond. But when you use sandbags and bag the pond inside, it stops the collapse from going inside the pond. The pond will be firm for a very long time. So that's the reason why we use sand bags. Then there was this question of, in earthen pond, do we put water? Yes. For best of result, fishes are like any other living creature. When they eat, they will excrete. Now, inside the pond is where they excrete. That is where they live. The only major advantage of earthen pond is that the sand has a purification system that purifies the water in the pond. Meaning that as you have the sand below the water, this water circulates with the sand and purifies, and the sand purifies that water. But then when you keep having the waste of these fishes going down that sand and dissolving in the water, it brings out odor, And sometimes it becomes overwhelming. That is when you now see that the water becomes thick. The sand can no longer keep doing that. It becomes thick, especially when these fishes are getting bigger. So what we do like that is, when you are constructing your pond, if you have a very good expert, what the expert does is that he has to put an inlet and put an outlet. If it is where you don't have a stream nearby that will bring the inlet, he puts an outlet. The outlet checks for one, it checks for erosion. In case there is flood, the outlet discharges the water. That's what it does. They use it to regulate the amount of water in the pond. So now, if you've done that, what happens is this. Sometimes you come, you discover that the water level has gone down in Earthen pond. You pump in water. Then sometimes if you come and the water becomes too thick, you now pump out water. You don't pump to the ground so that you don't overstress the fish. You don't pump to the ground, but you pump it very low. Then from your inlet, allow fresh water. When you allow fresh water, when you pump in fresh water, you will notice that the fishes their reaction within that day and the next 3 4 days will be like they just arrived in new pond, because everything will be fresh. They will be jumping up, playing, even the eating habit, everything will go up. So for you to understand that the distance has effect on the fishes. So once you do that, you discover that it helps you. Your fishes even will gain more weight. They will be so excited, they will eat more, and you yourself will be happy. It reduces the odor of the pond, the smelling, all those things will go down. So it's usually done. It's just that most people don't do it because, one, they don't have source of water supply. They rely on the water inside the pond. So they did not have any other source. They did not plan from beginning that they will have an inlet or an outlet. So since those things were not planned from beginning, they just rely on only the water. So even if the pond is stinking, they don't care. What they care about is, when do we sell the fish, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it. But in the real practice, it is always good to have an inlet and an outlet. So then another question that came up was, what was the why do why was the farmer feeding at a spot? Now that's what we call spot feeding. Many people don't know about this, but when you do spot feeding, it helps you to monitor your fish. You see, the thing is this: if you want to go and feed your fish, it's not like you are going to pick a biro to write something. So you pick the biro, you go. If you are going to feed your fish as a good farmer, you relax. When you relax and get to the pond to feed, that spot that you pick, if you stand there, you notice that all the fishes naturally will gather to that spot. As you are feeding, let's say you are feeding half bag before. Now, as you are putting the feed half bag, if you are using spot feeding, if the half bag finishes and your fishes are still raising their head above the water, what they are just telling you is that we are hungry. So then you will know that these fishes have graduated from eating half bag to more than that. Then you look for more feed. That's the only way you can gauge your feed. But if you just come and just assume that yes, they will eat half, just throw away the feed like that and go, possibility that they may not even finish the feed. Some of those feed will keep floating until they just dissolve and waste away. So you waste your feed. Then possibility you're underfeeding your fishes, you don't even know. It is when you want to sell that you discover that you have many small fishes that did not meet up to the growth because they were not eating. Each time you pour that feed, it's only the strong ones that will rush and eat. Them that are not strong will not get to eat the food. So indirectly, you are now cheating yourself because some of your fishes will not meet up. Those slow eaters, they won't meet up because before they come like this, the fast ones have already finished the food. So it is always good to adopt uh, spot feeding. It helps you a lot. It helps you very a lot. So if there are other questions, I would like us to forward the questions so that we can treat it. Then someone was asking me about the differences between the fishes, the time of sales. It was saying, why do people choose 3 months, and why do people choose 6 months, and why do people choose 8 months? Now, everything depends on you as a farmer. always try to find out what is applicable in your location or farm. Now, that's number one. Number two, consider your pocket. For instance, if in my own location that 3 months smoked fish is ideal, people demand it very high here. And then 6 months live fish, people demand it very high. And my money will not carry my weight of going to 6 months. Then simple, I do the 3 months so that I sell it and get whatever I have as my returns and replow back in the business. It won't pay me to go and drag 6 months when I don't have money for 6 months. At the end of the day, the shortage will be too much. And it's always good, if possible, to do this thing. After finding out what is moving in your area, you can see whether you yourself can even be the one smoking the fish. If it is a 3 month smoked fish and you want to smoke it yourself, it is still double gain. So everything depends on you. So it's always good. Like I said before, a farmer says that it is 8 months that pays him. Why? In his area of sales, people there like buying very big fishes that weigh 5 kilo and above. And the truth is this: the more the age of a fish, that's the more you make money from the fish. The more they are aging, the more you are making money. So if you are doing 3 months, what you do in 3 months is that you increase your quantity. That's the only way you make more money in 3 months. But if you are going higher, you can reduce the quantity, because the more they age, that's the more they get weight. So the farmer is aiming at 8 months. He was even telling me that he's going to try 9 months. He has done 8 months and he was very, very okay with that. Then, like I said in that time, is that the farmer also made me to understand that he doesn't like leaving Clarice fish to 8 months. Why? When you do that, Clarice fish will have eggs before 8 months. Anything from 7 months above, they will start having eggs. And when they have eggs, the people that want to buy it for fish pepper soup will not, once they just touch it and see, this one is heavy, they will put it by the side. The reason why they don't like buying it is not because of the eggs. No. The reason why they don't like buying it is that by the time you buy it and you process it, you remove the egg to sell. So the size of fish comes down. Your buyer will now not want to buy it at what he buys the ones that don't have egg. So for that, they won't buy it. Because if the fish weighs 5 kilo, when you remove the egg, it may be 3 kg. So you see that it's a loss to them. So that's why they don't like buying fishes that have eggs. So, but if it's a hybrid that will not have egg, fine, they take it to 9 months. So it's always good to find out exactly what works in your place. Then I received another question, as in, why the electricity? Good. That question is simply because of security. Security, they use electricity so that to prevent people from just walking into the farm and doing a lot of damages, because these days some people do enter people's farm and even help you to harvest your fishes at night. People do that. Some people out of hunger will go to your fish pond with hook and throw hook in your pond and start doing all those kind of things. So it's always good to do things to safeguard people from tampering with your sweat. So these are some of the reasons why such things are put in place. Like I said in the video, there was a question about the duck, the pepper that was flying. Yeah, I even asked that question. When the fishes were supplied immediately, there was no duck. But immediately the fishes got to 4 months, he introduced duck there. Because then the dog cannot eat those size of fishes. Even when I was teasing him, he said no, that even the dog is even having a problem because the fishes used to disturb the dog. So the dog feeds on the extra leftover from the pond, and the fishes will be disturbing that is eating their food. So apart from that, there is no other reason for keeping the dog there. It's just the personal likeness of the farmer, that he wants to keep dog and then eat the meat at a particular time. That's just the reason. So then somebody was asking if the water was too much for fish to swim to avoid them drowning. Well, you understand that fishes were created to be a water creature, so they cannot get drowned in the water, in the pond. They can't get drowned. It's just like saying that fishes will get drowned. If the river is not a salty water, catfish will not have any problem. It's only when it is very salty that they will have issues. If not, they cannot drown. It is their habitat, so they will always feel free to swim there and then go away. No, so no problem about that. Mhm. Just like you may notice, if you start a pond newly, you lime the pond. But in liming of the pond, it's always good to use industrial lime to do that. If you don't use industrial lime and use our ordinary salt, make sure that your water level in that pond is very high. If not, you have already started looking for a way to kill your fishes, because catfish and salt do not always go together. Yes, you can put small salt in a pond to purify the pond, but you cannot over pour salt in any fish pond. When you do that, it kills the fish. It becomes toxic, it becomes poisonous to the fish. They will all die. So that's just that. But apart from that, if you have any other questions about anything that you saw or anything that you want me to talk about fish rearing, kindly drop your comments below. Don't forget to follow this page on Facebook, Let Us Farm. Just click on the follow button and follow us for more updates on our farm visit. We're going to be visiting different farms. We have different other topics that we'll be looking at, different other livestock, even apart from fish, that we'll see. So once you're on this particular page, you will see a lot of things that will marvel you. Even in crop farming, we have a lot. Even now on the page, we have some things on the page about crop farming. So it will do you well to sit down, relax, watch these videos, and educate yourself more on what farming entails. Any other question, please send to us. If you're on YouTube, please kindly type Let Us Farm. Subscribe to the channel. Share our video so that other people can also see and benefit from it. Until I come your way next time, I remain Noel Oge Emelifon of Let Us Farm.